G'day folks. Well, since I'm not going to get a rocker cover anytime soon, I figure I might as well pull this to bits. Main reason being the exhaust valve leaks like mad and I haven't been able to fix it just by toggling it. So I've got to relap the valves or get them reground. I haven't been able to get the injector out. I'm not sure if it's threaded in or that bushing's supposed to just come out as a whole piece, but that just doesn't want to budge. I might have to pull these studs out and try and unscrew it, but I'll address that once the head's off. Hopper's off. Looks nasty inside. They left water in it for a while. It's a saltwater engine. I've had a bit of a poke around in there. It looks like the remains of a temperature sender or something on the front of it. So that's all broken down and gone. I'm going to have to use electrolysis on this one. Thermostat housing doesn't appear to have any kind of thermostat in it, so I don't know what's going on there. This one's probably going to be run off a cooling tower unless it does end up back in a boat, but I'm not a boat person, so someone else can do that. But I'll run this off a cooling tower with probably glycol or something in it. There's something living down inside there. Some solid mass. I think it's part of the thermostat. Yeah, it's aluminium. Yeah, it's probably what's left of the thermostat or something like that. Oh well. I'm going to keep pulling it to bits. I was spinning it over with the exhaust valve open last night. I couldn't get any oil coming out of here, which is the oil pressure sender mount. And yeah, I'm wondering if the oil pump's worn out. I can't remember who sent me the link or the information, but apparently it's a common problem for the back of the oil pump bearing housing to wear out and high pressure oil just leaks back to the sump. So I've got to address that too. But it should come good. Just pull the whole thing to bits if I have to. Strip it right down, get it ready for a respray. I hit it with a bit of etch primer just to stop the rust flashing over, but that hasn't stopped it. It's going to go nuts. Okay, so I've gotten rid of the oil in the cylinder, or the crankcase I should say. Cleaned up the cylinder and there's a fair bit of pitting on it. Like they've had moisture coming back through the exhaust, because this one normally dumps return water out through the exhaust, or spent water from the cooling system goes out the exhaust, like it does on many small boats and things. And unfortunately it's been getting back into the cylinder, like they've left it with the exhaust valve open. I can see pitting on the valve. The valve might grind up alright, but the bore is really discoloured and pitted and nasty. Same with the crown of the piston. It's about as bad as that Chinese one, if not worse. Not sure about this one. It'll probably run, but there's a risk of blow-by and probably running off its own oil. And you can just see it there. It's very fine pitting, but it's pitted. Likewise, there's a bit of a lip here. I'm not too happy with that, but it's better than being completely ruined. Oh well. That's probably why they threw it out. Mind you, the guy who had it said it was running fine when he stored it, but that was probably 20 years ago, and running fine can be a matter of opinion with certain people, especially when they're trying to get rid of something for more than scrap value, which he did not succeed in. No way. Well, it's slowly getting smaller and smaller. It's still bloody heavy though, especially with that drive on it. All that mass on it adds for a lot of weight. I'm going to plug up my oil holes next. I'm taking the oil feed line off, and also open up the back of the crankcase. There's a bit of rust on the breather, but that's about it. I don't think water's been getting in here. Take the big end apart, pop the piston out and make sure the rings aren't seized into the piston. I'm guessing since it's had a long-term moisture problem, that's probably part of it. There was a lot of oil in the cylinder when I took the head off initially, but this engine was sitting at an angle like that when I found it, with the head facing down. The missing rocker cover meant most of the oil had drained out into the hull, but there was still several litres of oil in there, and yeah, I've got a feeling a lot of it ended up inside the cylinder whilst it was sitting facing down. A little bit of surface rust on the counterweight, but that's about it. Bit of lateral play, but we'll have a look at the bearings once it's apart. It's only actual wear in the bearings I'm concerned about. A little bit of side movement's okay. Yeah. It's old, it's worn. It's about as bad as the Chinese one that I found. That was pitted and worn piston skirt that slaps like a bitch. It's pretty typical of a diesel that's done several thousand hours work. Many thousands of hours. And I like this thing here, it's like a bicycle clutch type thing. That's your starting chain. The starter sits up the top and you just wind away. I just sprayed that with oil so it's freeing up a bit. And that was an oil pressure sender. I found that in the hull of the boat today, and I also removed the propeller shaft, because that's got the flange on it. That flange is grub screwed and lock nutted, which I did try and remove on the spot but ended up stripping the nut. And it's also threaded on, so God knows how I'm going to get that off. So instead I took the propeller off and just pinched the whole shaft. Well, they let me take it. The shaft's useless to me because it's bent and it's badly pitted all the way down. So I'm just going to cut this off about there and see what I can do with the rest. They can have the stainless back. Same with the bronze propeller, that was all banged up, so I threw that in the bronze bin. Worth nothing to me. Yeah, the prop was easy enough to get off. They had this blue sealant crap all over it, so you scrape that off and just undo the nut. Alright, well, we've got the piston and everything out. It's a bit rough, the bearings are well worn. The piston's got some score marks and other marks on it. I think it ran low on oil at one stage. So, yeah. You almost do with a new piston, but at least a refresh kit will do it. New rings, bearings on the conrod, head gasket, that sort of thing. Redo the valves on the head and that should do it. Likewise, rebuild the oil pump. I pull the strainer and everything out, pull the front cover off it and rebuild the oil pump on it, because I think that was part of the problem. Just cranking it over last night, I had a full sump of oil, but I wasn't getting anything coming out of the pressure sender hole or anywhere. I just didn't have any oil pressure coming up. And normally, even with the China one, as worn as it is, I still get oil up through the galleries almost immediately. So I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm pretty sure the oil pump's worn out. Yeah. So I'm going to clean this up a bit, but I'm going to shop around for parts. And I'll wrap this up and seal it up, put it under cover somewhere safe, and that'll do for now. I'm not going to rush into it and just make it work come hell or high water. I don't really want to ruin it by throwing it together with busted parts. Definitely get a new head gasket too, because this is one of those sticky ones that fell apart as soon as you take it apart. So I've got to clean the deck up, clean all the crap out of the cooling galleries, because there's loads of shit coming out of there. Nobody's taken care of this engine at all. It's just neglect that's killed it. Well, it's not dead, but it won't be healthy if I did get it to start. Oh, that's the end of that one for now. I'll do a little update when I get the front cover off, but that's about it. Thanks for watching.